How's it going, guys? Aaron here, and today I'm bringing you a video about my setup for recordings. I know some people will be interested in doing their own recordings and having issues with wanting to use things like Teamspeak and having control over the different volume levels and stuff like that. As well as, for example, me and Richard and Alex, we like doing videos, and sometimes we do videos together where we do a multicam recording, which is basically we record each of our points of view and we do cuts between the different points of view. So when it comes to that situation, you want to record the game footage but without the audio, and we use Teamspeak to record the audio, or something else to record the vocals, not the audio, sorry, our voices. So I use this thing called Voicemeeter Banana, which I've just been using. I originally used to use virtual audio cable. I've tried Voicemeeter, and I've now moved over to Voicemeeter Banana, which is much better. And you can, it is free, but it would be nice if you donated to them as well, to show that you support them and you like you think they've done a good job with the software, and they've done a very good job with the software. So, but basically what it does, I'll just bring it up here, is it brings in, it gives you control over hardware inputs, virtual inputs, and the outputs of all the channels. So basically, when I'm recording, I'm trying to think of it like this: my voice is one channel, the game audio / desktop audio is another channel, and Teamspeak is another channel as well. And you want them all separate, because if you have them all separate, imagine each of these is so this one on mine this is my voice, my vocal track. As you can see, it moves up and down as I do stuff. Then this one here is my desktop audio, and this one is my Teamspeak audio. So I'll just load up Teamspeak a second.
Connected.
I'll go into another channel.
Switched.
So you see that bar moves up and down. So if I go in here, and you'll be able to see this. So if I go to playback and go play test,
Testing your playback sound system.
you can see that this channel here
Testing your playback sound system.
is the input from
Testing your
Teamspeak,
playback sound system.
or the output of Teamspeak into this channel.
Testing your playback sound system.
And then I can control the volume separately as well, like this.
Testing your playback sound system.
And that's what that does.
Testing your
And then on this one, I've got my desktop audio. So desktop and game audio. So if I was playing a game, audio would be playing there. So I'm just going to go over to my other screen, and I will type. Actually, I'll do it on here. Oh no. Do I have anything to play? Oh, I've got this. Actually, no, I won't do that. Right, I'll just do this quickly. Hello, this is a recording test, so you can see how it comes back. Oh, actually, this might not work. I'll see what happens. No, it doesn't work, because I've turned it off on her. Anyway, we'll get to that bit in a second. You just have to trust me. This is desktop audio and game audio. This is Teamspeak. This is my vocals, and there's two spare channels here if you had some other hardware input. So, for example, I could set this up to use my webcam microphone, but I've no need to do that if I've got my main microphone here. There's no point in me having another microphone, but you might want one. So, for example, that might be handy if me and Richard and Alex were all sat around the same computer or doing a podcast, and each of us had a separate microphone. So, for example, if each of us had a separate microphone, I could have this one, Alex could have this one, and Richard could have this one, and then I could control the compression and the gate and the volume independently of each other, which is handy. It's also got some cool features, like you can do this weird stuff where you can change the way your voice sounds. You make it like that. You can also do some weird modulation effects. Yeah, you can do stuff like that. You can also position it, so now I'm in your left ear, I'm in your left ear, hello, I'm in your right ear, oh. So you can do stuff like that. I'm not sure whether that'll be picked up in the recording, but we'll find out. The other thing as well is you've got the option for mono or stereo. Now, the way my audio is set up, because I use I've got an actual mixing desk, because I do band recordings and stuff like that. And the way my mixing desk works is it treats everything as one channel. But so you can imagine this is a microphone. It's not a stereo microphone. It's just a microphone on its own. But the way that my desk works is it treats it as, so for example, channels 1 and 2 are left and right, and then 3 and 4 are left and right, and 4, that kind of thing, and then 5 and 6 are left and right. So it's treating this channel 1 as left. So when I turn that off, I'm in your left ear, but when I set it to mono, it basically doubles it up, so it's playing it in both sides, so it doesn't sound weird, which is very handy, because I've had issues where with my setup where using it directly into Teamspeak, my voice just comes out of the left ear because of the way my mixing desk is set up. So that's a bit of handy information. So we've got hardware inputs, which are physical inputs into the computer, and then we've got virtual inputs, which are virtual channels on the computer, basically. And what you have to do is, one of the first things I do is you load this up and it'll all be blank. You'll want to go over to here to where it says A1, and you want to choose in here your main output that you want to hear things through. So this is just for you to hear. So I've set mine up as KS, PreSonus Fire Studio Audio, which is my mixing desk. So the sounds that are played through this, that go to A1, so for example my microphone, the desktop audio and the Teamspeak go to this channel A1, and that then comes out of A1 and goes to my mixing desk, which is over on the left hand side over here. It's not over here on the desk, I mean it's on my desk. Now there's WDM, which is Windows Device Manager, I think, something like that, and then there's MME and KS, which is to do with the kernel management. It uses the kernel, which is to do with the processing. I'm not sure about that, but basically what I found is, for the most part, you want to stick with WDM. ASIO is pretty good for low latency if your hardware supports it. Mine does not. So I'm sticking, but the thing is, you can also use MME as well, but I found that if I use WDM, I get this weird issue where things seem to be out of, so it's like a different frequency almost. So for some reason when I say something, it's in fast forward mode, so there's a pause and then it goes blah, 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 like that. So there's some sort of weird timing syncing issue. When I set it to KS, it worked flawlessly and I never have any issues. So I'm not sure. But I just stick it to KS, and then over on here on the hardware inputs I've got my PreSonus Fire Studio KS set there as well. On this one, for example, if you had your USB microphone plugged in, you'd find it on there and choose that, and on here you'd have your headphones plugged in, and on here, so for example I'd probably choose something like line 2, or maybe my Realtek digital audio output, which would be then to my headset through a normal little cable, normal headset type thing. You'll have to mess around with these because they'll be different depending on what kind of hardware setup you have. So you've got to make sure that you've got the hardware input set up there and the hardware output set up there. The other thing you'll need to check on is over here on your voice, on your control panel thing, your sound options. So you go to playback devices and you want it set up like this. So your default communication is your Voicemeeter auxiliary input, and your Voicemeeter input is your default device, two separate things. And then in recording you do the same as well. So Voicemeeter output, the main output is this, and the secondary output is the auxiliary. What this means is, because I use this to record and I use ShadowPlay to record, ShadowPlay takes the primary input as its source of audio, and its primary input is always Voicemeeter input 1 or this one here. Even if I set that one to default, it would still try and listen from here. But if you leave it like this, default device there, default communication device there, same here. Auxiliary is the communication, and the other one is the default. Some of these may or may not actually have any impact, but I spent literally 12-13 hours in one sitting. I just sat down and spent all day trying to get this to work, and I finally got it to work, and I thought I'll do a video for people who are wanting to use ShadowPlay with Teamspeak to do recordings with a microphone and a headset and be able to hear yourself and record yourself and have control over all the different levels as well as effects and stuff like that. So that's the setup for those. And so what that's doing is basically just it's saying that this output B1 is primary, B2 is secondary, this one is primary, this one is secondary. So in primary, desktop audio, secondary, Teamspeak. Primary, desktop audio, secondary, Teamspeak. So my Teamspeak, my voice is being sent to B2, which is being sent to Teamspeak, so I'll show you this. So in options, under here, under playback, this is playback as in audio output. And what you want is Teamspeak coming out into Voicemeeter auxiliary.
Testing your playback sound system.
Like that. So playback mode automatically is best. Voicemeeter auxiliary input. That's what you want to choose. So Teamspeak will come out of this channel, and you can also adjust the equalizer here so I can play this.
Testing your playback sound system. Testing your playback sound system.
So you can adjust it like that if you want.
Testing
as well
your
as the
playback
volume
sound system.
And panning and everything like that.
Test.
Now in your capture you could just choose your microphone if you wanted to. In this bit, if you really wanted to, if I wanted to, I could just choose PreSonus 5 Studio Audio, in which case my microphone goes straight into Teamspeak. But what I like to do is choose Voicemeeter auxiliary output, and what that means is my voice. So what's happening is the input for Teamspeak is actually this channel here, B2. My voice is being sent to B2, here look, so it's being sent to B2, over here, into here, and then that goes into Teamspeak. What this means is that anything I send to B2 here goes into Teamspeak. So, if I set this back up like this, you don't need to worry about this, and I record something, so I'm now recording a little bit of an audio file, so I've now got that saved there. What I can now do, and this will be picked up on ShadowPlay as well, I hope, is right, the next I'll click play and I won't be speaking, but it'll be replaying the audio here back through B2, which then goes to Teamspeak. Record something, so I'm now recording a little bit of an audio file. Yeah, like that. So that's what's happening. My Teamspeak input isn't a microphone, my Teamspeak input is a channel, and my microphone is set up to go to B2, which is Teamspeak. B1 is ShadowPlay, that's how I think of it, and A1 is just for me to hear. So if I turn A1 off, now I can't hear myself speaking, but when I turn it back on now I can. If I turn these off, then I won't be able to hear desktop audio and Teamspeak. So A1 is what I hear, A2 is what I hear, but maybe in a different hardware setup. Like maybe I've got headset here, desktop speakers here, surround sound here, something like that. B1 is what ShadowPlay is going to hear. B2 is what Teamspeak's going to hear. Yeah, and the way I've got it set up is that my microphone is going to A1, B1, and B2, so ShadowPlay can hear it, Teamspeak can hear it, and I can hear it as well. My desktop audio, which is the first virtual input, is going to my headset so I can hear the game. It's also going to B1, which is ShadowPlay, but it's not going to B2, because if I set it to B2, all my desktop audio would be going through to Teamspeak. So if I was playing some music on my computer and it was coming in here and I hit B2, everybody in Teamspeak can hear it as well, so it's kind of like a radio, or you can just annoy the shit out of people if you want as well. Voicemeeter auxiliary is Teamspeak input, and that goes to A1 and B2, so A1 and B1, sorry. So I can hear the Teamspeak, and ShadowPlay can also hear the Teamspeak. If I set it to B2, anybody talking in Teamspeak would also so if somebody spoke in here and they went hello on Teamspeak, it would come out of here into B2, and B2 goes back into there. Now there's a loop, so somebody's said hello and they've just heard themselves like an echo because it's going back through like that. You can also do these solo and mute and stuff like that. just to bear in mind. But I just use A1, B1, B2, just to reconfirm that. A1 is for me to hear only, B1 is for ShadowPlay to record, B2 is for Teamspeak to hear and record if I set it up to record as well. So that's what's happening there. So back into settings, playback, Voicemeeter auxiliary input, capture, Voicemeeter auxiliary output. On playback devices, you want Voicemeeter input as the default device, but Voicemeeter auxiliary input as the default communication device. Not that that matters. You could probably set default communication device to your microphone if you wanted to. I believe I could do that somewhere. It doesn't matter. Recording, default device should be Voicemeeter output, which is this one. And because you set this one to the default Voicemeeter output, which is this one, that means that ShadowPlay can pick it up. If I set this one to default, ShadowPlay would not pick up what I wanted it to pick up. So it's just a bit more control. That's all. And that's what I'm actually doing at the moment. So for example, let's say I'm doing a recording and I want everything picked up. It's just going to be me recording on my screen. Nobody else is going to have their videos put in it or anything. So I want the Teamspeak, I want the game audio, and I want my audio. I want me set to B1, my gameplay set to B1, and Teamspeak set to B1. Now that means that everything is being recorded to ShadowPlay. If I don't want ShadowPlay to record it, I turn B1 off on these channels. So what I'm about to do is turn B1 off. Bring it back in like that, so now you can hear me. That's how it works. Same with this as well. So if I go into settings, options, and I go play
Testing
sound,
your playback sound system.
you can see it's coming in here. Now if I turn it off, you shouldn't be able to hear that. You can see it's moving up and down like that.
Sound system.
So you should have heard it cut back in there like that. And that's what that's doing basically. So for example, that's an example of if I wanted to record my screen and everything. If I wanted to record my screen but nothing, just the game audio, I just do that. I just turn off everything but the game audio. That way ShadowPlay is only recording the desktop and game audio, not Teamspeak and not my voice. But I can still hear my voice and Teamspeak can still hear me. And that's what's great about this software, that you have that kind of control over your recordings. And it doesn't. The thing is though, ShadowPlay doesn't record then everything as separate channels, so you can't put your ShadowPlay recording into Sony Vegas or whatever you like to use and split it up into individual channels and then readjust the Teamspeak audio compared to your microphone separately. You've got to make sure those are correct to start with. Yeah, so you're not recording multiple channels. Your channels are being condensed down to one channel, and that's being recorded by ShadowPlay, which is this one. The way that ShadowPlay is doing this is I've got it set up so that it records my vocals, and my vocals are actually on B1 technically, but B1 also contains the game audio and the Teamspeak. That's all it's doing. It's sticking them together and sending through B1, and ShadowPlay records it. I hope you've sort of understood what I'm trying to say here, and I hope that's been helpful. I won't go through. I'll go quickly through things. So compression basically evens out audio. So for example, let's say you've got somebody who talks at a normal volume and then he gets to a exciting bit. He's like, wow, and he shouts really loud. Turning up the compression, what that should do is reduce the spikes at the top end, bringing down the volume at the high bits, and also bringing up the low bits as well, so it sort of evens things out. But what it can do is make the audio sound weird, and that's when you've done too much compression, it can sound a bit fake. The gate as well is basically, but it does what it says. It lets certain things through, and if you set the threshold really high, it will require a certain volume level before the audio, for example, your microphone kicks in. So for example, if I set the gate really high, I have to reach a certain volume level before my voice comes through. That's what that does. So it helps eliminate background noise and hums and maybe the sound of your computer whirring in the background. However, obviously it won't get rid of that if you're talking at the same time, because as soon as you start talking at the appropriate volume level, that background audio will start to come through. That's what that does though. Then you've also got these equalizer here, so you can increase the treble. You're not going to hear any difference on there, but it basically just lets you adjust the sound to your liking, warning that does also then output to ShadowPlay and Teamspeak as well. So if you mess with it here and you change the sound there, it might sound different in the recording in Teamspeak as well. You've also got these, so you can adjust the panning and whether it sounds close or behind you and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. And then you've got all these here, so you've got this effects thing where you can change how your voice sounds. So I sound like I'm maybe talking over a really shitty phone. Actually, probably a decent phone, actually, because most phones sound shit compared to that. And then this one, which is just a lot of low end, and you can sort of mess with the effects. That one sort of adds room to it, as if there's a bit of a echo slightly, like a slapback delay or something. The modulation just makes it sound like I'm like some sort of weird demon. Oh god, I've left it. And then you can double tap to turn it back, and you've got position, which basically makes it sound like I'm sort of over here, I'm in the background, I'm sort of, it adds a bit of an echo, a bit of a delay there, and as you get closer the delay gets sharper and shorter until there's no delay. And then you can also do stuff like I'm in your right ear and I'm in your left ear. Oh, hello. So that's what that does. The final bit I'll show you is this tape recorder. So the first thing you'll want to do is set it to A1, B1 and B2. Now what that means is anything that gets played by this tape recorder, you can hear it, ShadowPlay can hear it, and Teamspeak can hear it. Now I could turn that off, and that way when I play something back, Teamspeak doesn't pick it up. But I'm gonna just leave that as it is, like that. It'll be fine. So A1, B1, B2, like that. In here, if you right click on it, it brings up this. These are the inputs that you want it to record. So if you wanted to, you could just make it record Teamspeak, and you could, when your mates are saying something, you could record them and then play it back to them and annoy them, or make a weird soundboard or something. But I set it to accept all inputs, so it's recording everything from every channel, even though I've not got anything on physical 2 and physical 3, but just leave it anyway, it doesn't matter. And you can set up the sample rate and the bit resolution and the number of channels, as in stereo and stuff like that. But you can just leave it as is. You can change the directory where it gets saved, so it doesn't maybe clog up your hard drive as you get loads of files, because I had to clear a load off and end up with several gigabytes of stuff to clear off. Also, you can choose what file type it saves them as, but you can just leave it as default. Honestly, it's not a big deal, it's fine. And basically what this does is, when I hit record, it starts recording whatever it can pick up, whatever it's told to pick up. So it'll pick up Physical 1, my microphone, and it'll also pick up Virtual 1 and Virtual Auxiliary. So it's picking up desktop audio, Teamspeak, and my voice, basically. Same as ShadowPlay. So you could in theory use it to record the audio separately from ShadowPlay if you wanted. You hit record, it starts recording, you hit stop, you hit play, and it plays it back. So for example, I'm recording my voice now, doo-dah, doo-dah. So for example, I'm recording my voice now, doo-dah, 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 yeah, like that. And you can do, like rewind and fast forward and whatever, play. You can also open it up and play your own sounds. So for example, we've got this one.
Fucking hate that card.
Which is a friend, one of our Irish mates who said that. Fucking hate that card.
Fucking hate that. Fucking hate that card.
So you can do all sorts. It's pretty handy. It's cool. For example, let's say maybe you're doing a podcast and you want to play some bit of intro music, and you want to have control over that now rather than doing it in the editing later. Or I don't know, maybe you're doing like commentary and you're watching some of your mates play a game and you want some cool sounds like, double kill, multi-kill, god, like that sort of thing. You could do stuff like that if you wanted to. You could set up all your files in here and choose them, stuff like that. So that's that is a quick, I say quick, that's a video on how to use Voicemeeter Banana, how to set it up and use it to record with ShadowPlay and Teamspeak. It applies to Skype or Mumble. All you do is you need to get the settings in here right, so input and output has to be, input is auxiliary input and capture device is auxiliary output, that's all. And once you've got that down, you're sorted. You can record ShadowPlay for multicams on your own, you can record on your own but mute all your friends but still be able to listen and talk to them, or I don't know why you'd want to do that, actually you just sound like a lunatic, like you're talking to yourself, says the guy talking to himself. You could use it to play music through Teamspeak or play play sounds or whatever. But yeah, that's just a little video how to get started with it, how cool the software is, and where to get it. I will show you that now. So you go to Google, type in Voicemeeter Banana, it's the first link, scroll down, there's the button, this one here, Voicemeeter Banana. You can donate to support them because they've done a great job. Support them, it's worth it. Yeah, it's really good software. I hope this helps them get a few more people getting the software. Remember, you can just get it and try it out for free and see if you like it and see if it works with your setup. And as you can see here, obviously you can have multiple outputs, so he's got like a headset output and he's got his speaker outputs, so you could set it up so that you've got your headphones outputting and you've also got your speakers outputting. However, the current setup that I've got, my sound's being sent to my desk and my desk sending it to my headphones, and if I wanted to I could send it to my speakers without setting up a separate hardware output. But yeah, so that's sorry, a bit of a rant. Sorry if I've spoken too quickly there. If you want me to do another video on setting it up from scratch maybe, but ultimately the only thing that's different about setting it up from scratch is the fact that these were blank. That's it. What you'll also want to do when you install it, the first time you install it, remember to follow the instructions. It should say restart your computer. Restart your computer, otherwise you'll bugger things up. I didn't restart my computer and buggered everything up. Restart your computer, everything will be fine. Just remember to check your playback devices, recording devices, Teamspeak settings, and that's it. In ShadowPlay as well, when you're recording, you set it up to use in-game and microphone recordings. The microphone bit is what takes in the Teamspeak and your voice and the Voicemeeter, the desktop audio. Yeah. So I think that's it actually. Hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will catch you guys later. Bye.